and he received his JD and PhD Political Science from Harvard Law School in 2003 and his BA from Harvard College in 1997. And today, he will address it on the topic of Unveiling Corruption's Plateau, Exploring Challenges and Opportunities for Anti-Corruption Agency in Southeast Asia. And may I invite Professor Matthew C. Stephenson, and ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm round of applause to Professor Stephenson.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is my honor and privilege to be here today at this important conference focused on anti-corruption innovations in Southeast Asia. As we gather to discuss the pressing issue of corruption, we recognize its pervasive impact on our societies, economies, and governance structures. Today, I will explore both the challenges faced by anti-corruption agencies in Southeast Asia and the opportunities that lie ahead to foster a more transparent and accountable future. Corruption is a multifaceted issue, deeply embedded in many societies. In Southeast Asia, it manifests in various forms, from petty bribery to grand corruption involving high-level officials. Despite economic progress and modernization, corruption continues to hinder development, erode public trust, and perpetuate inequality. Anti-corruption agencies in Southeast Asia encounter numerous obstacles in their mission to combat corruption. Political interference stands out as a significant challenge. Many agencies operate in environments where political forces may seek to influence their work, limit their independence, or even disband them when investigations touch on sensitive matters. Resource constraints also pose a considerable challenge. Limited funding and a shortage of skilled personnel hinder the agency's ability to conduct thorough investigations, implement preventive measures, and engage in public education campaigns. Moreover, legal and institutional barriers often impede their efforts. Weak whistleblower protection laws, inadequate asset recovery mechanisms, and lenient penalties for corrupt practices further complicate the fight against corruption. Cultural and social norms play a crucial role in shaping attitudes towards corruption. In some societies, practices such as gift-giving and familial loyalty blur the lines between acceptable behavior and corruption, making it challenging to change these long-standing norms. Despite these challenges, significant opportunities exist for innovation and improvement in the fight against corruption in Southeast Asia. Ensuring the independence of anti-corruption agencies is paramount. Establishing clear legal frameworks that safeguard their autonomy and protect them from political interference is essential. Additionally, creating mechanisms for greater accountability and transparency in their operations can enhance public trust. Technological advancements offer new tools for combating corruption. Digital platforms can increase transparency in government procurement, streamline reporting mechanisms, and facilitate data sharing among agencies. Big data analytics and artificial intelligence can help identify patterns of corruption and predict potential risks. Regional cooperation is crucial in addressing corruption that transcends national borders. Southeast Asian nations can strengthen their collaborative efforts through platforms such as ASEAN, sharing best practices, and coordinating cross-border investigations. Regional agreements and frameworks can also facilitate the recovery of stolen assets and the prosecution of corrupt individuals. Legal reforms are essential to support anti-corruption efforts. Strengthening whistleblower protection laws, increasing penalties for corrupt activities, and improving the efficiency of judicial processes are necessary steps. Legal frameworks should also ensure that anti-corruption agencies have the necessary authority to conduct their work effectively. Engaging the fight against corruption is vital. Anti-corruption agencies can launch public awareness campaigns to educate citizens about the detrimental effects of corruption and their role in combating it. Encouraging public participation in reporting corrupt activities and fostering a culture of integrity can create a groundswell of support for anti-corruption initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight against corruption in Southeast Asia is undoubtedly challenging, but it is a battle we must continue to fight with determination and innovation by addressing the challenges of political interference, resource constraints, legal barriers, and cultural norms, and by seizing the opportunities for strengthening independence, leveraging technology, building regional cooperation, enhancing legal frameworks, and engaging the public, we can make significant strides toward a more transparent and accountable future. Let us commit to supporting our anti-corruption agencies, empowering them with the tools and resources they need, and fostering a culture of integrity that permeates every level of society. Together, we can create a Southeast Asia where corruption is the exception, not the norm, and where justice and fairness prevail. And I have a confession to make. I did not write that speech. No human being wrote that speech. 3 hours ago, I woke up and I asked ChatGPT to write a keynote address for a conference with this title, with the title that appears in the program. And that's what it came up with. Why did I do this? Well, maybe laziness. But that's actually not the real reason. One reason might be just to remind us of just how amazing these new technologies are and how quickly they are changing. That speech was written in about 20 seconds with a very short prompt. But that's not even the real reason that I did what I just did. I know it's a gimmick, but I did it for a reason. I hope you noticed something about the speech that I just delivered. It was really bad. That was not a good speech. It was stilted. It was formal. It was dull. It was full of vague platitudes and familiar cliches. It contains some true and important points, but there's some true and important points that we've all heard dozens or hundreds of times. And the fact that the speech was bad was not ChatGPT's fault, because what ChatGPT is really good at is imitating what human beings do. It knows, it can figure out what opening speeches, what keynotes at conferences like this usually sound like. And it did a really good job of imitating that. And I think that's what we want to avoid, right? Most anti-corruption conferences sort of sound like the speech that I just gave. They are very repetitive and full of cliches and rather dull. This conference can be different. This conference should be different, and given the lineup of speakers and presenters and participants, I am very confident that this conference will be different. So we're going to get past the platitudes and cliches and familiar anti-corruption talking points that we always hear. We're going to get specific, not so much about the problem with which we are all familiar, but with the innovative solutions that activists and journalists and government policymakers and others are generating and actively pursuing. We're going to share with each other our information and experiences, not just about our successes, but also about difficulties and failures. And we're going to avoid stilted, overly formal, overly rehearsed presentations that sound a bit like the ChatGPT speech I gave at the beginning. And we are going to engage with each other in a way that is more direct, that is more immediate, and more person-to-person, the way I'm at least attempting to speak to you right now. And I emphasize that because the human connection and the human contact is really the most important part of meetings like this. We have great panels coming up. They're going to be extremely informative. We're going to learn a lot. But if these meetings were just about sharing or exchanging information, we could do it much more efficiently in writing. We can read each other's reports, we can communicate with each other by email and so forth. The value of meetings like this, the reason they are so valuable is because they present an unusual opportunity for direct engagement and interaction, both in the formal sessions and in the informal side chats during coffee breaks and meals. And these interactions allow us to build the relationships that will foster ongoing, meaningful dialogue and collaboration. And that, in my view, is what is really essential to both cultivating and disseminating innovative approaches to the fight against corruption in this region and around the world. So I want to thank the organizers of this event and the sponsors of this event for investing the resources necessary to bring us all together for this really important event. And let's take full advantage of the opportunities that this in-person multinational forum affords us. And that means not doing what ChatGPT did for me when I asked it to write my opening remarks. Let's avoid cliches and platitudes. Let's skip the repetitive anti-corruption talking points. We have a great opportunity here to make genuine progress, so I encourage everyone involved in this meeting, let's be bold, let's be direct, let's be creative, let's be ambitious, and most of all, let's be human. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Matthew C. Stephenson, for sharing useful information, knowledge, and valuable time with us. And our next keynote speaker is Ms. Anika White.